The third presenters are Ishito Rintaro, Temple Kangas Sky, and Rahman Aryan. Their choice is Theme 3. Please start.
Good afternoon. This is Sky, this is Rintaro, and I am Aryan. And today, we will be speaking about how to bring investment to the masses. But before all else, I'd like to ask you a question. And that question is investment important? I would argue yes. Through investment, we're able to increase our personal wealth. This is especially important in modern-day Japan because Japan has low interest rates, low wage growth, and a fairly unreliable pension system. It is up to us to ensure ourselves a comfortable life during our sunset years, and investment is a very effective way of accomplishing that goal. Moreover, the benefits of investment are not merely personal. You see, investment empowers great ideas and rewards them. If it were not for investment, we would not be able to see great ideas such as the microchip and other life-changing apps that we see on a daily basis come to fruition. Investment is what brings innovation to our society. That being said, we tend to see investment as something outside of our realm. We tend to see investment as something reserved only for the professionals, especially in Japan. As a result, Japan has very low retail investor activity. Now, to elaborate on this issue, I would like to bring my friend Sky onto the stage. Sky, please take it away.
Thank you, Arian. So, let's take a look at the actual numbers. These numbers are the possession rates of stocks and investment trusts. From the global comparison, we can say that Japanese people are less likely to hold stocks and investment trusts than Americans and Europeans. And next, here we have two pie charts about brokerage account holders by age group. The left one is from SBI. SBI is the largest security firm in the domestic market, and the other one is from Japan Securities Dealers Association. Both of them illustrate that the number of under 30 remains quite low at 8.5% and 5.9%. respectively. This is more than enough to prove how young Japanese people are not into investment. And what is problematic here after looking at these two slides is that young Japanese people are particularly unwilling investors, even in the globally low investing-minded Japanese population. We think that this issue could be partly attributed to a lack of financial literacy in Japanese society. Here are the average scores of financial literacy tests conducted by Central Council for Financial Services Information. Looking at the bar charts, it is too obvious that the youngest age group from 18 to 29 has the worst average scores on the financial literacy test, indicating that low financial literacy is the most serious issues in the youngest generations. Moreover, here's the follow-up survey of the same financial literacy tests. Actually, before the test was conducted, one group received financial education, like how to manage money, basic accounting and financing, etc. This survey shows that 67.3% of the participants said that financial education should be conducted after they actually experienced it. Also, it should be noted that out of those respondents, only 8.5% answered that they had received the same kind of financial education before. In other words, a lot of Japanese people have never received financial education before, but after they learned what financial education was, they thought it was necessary for the Japanese curriculum. In order to increase financial literacy in Japan, we're going to suggest a practical application for financial education at Japanese high schools. For that, we have three key components: education, technology, and investment. And we came up with this application and named it AppVest because the objective of this app is to educate youth on investment to increase financial literacy. This is a simulation app where students can practice investment. In the game setting, they start off with 100,000 points equal to 100,000 Japanese yen in the virtual market. Another interesting game setting is that they compete with other algorithm-based investors in the virtual market. And the movement of the stock market is based on the real financial market, which is, so playing the game users naturally get up to speed on economic news, which is good for financial literacy as well. How to play the game is pretty straightforward. First of all, they investigate financial instruments and make transactions. If they buy low and sell high, that's how they maximize their allocated points, making profits. And last but not least, what's also good about this app is transferability. The accumulated points in the game can be transferred to actual Japanese yen when students open their brokerage accounts after they turn 20. And we plan that the rate of transfer should be around 100 points equal to 1 actual Japanese yen. So based on this calculation, if students keep their allocated points from the beginning, they are going to have 100,000 actual Japanese yen in their brokerage accounts.
So, how can we utilize it in the actual educational field? According to an educational guideline of high schools in 2022, the investment education will be provided in the course of home economics from next year. As there have been few practical materials for students to learn about the investments, this app will play an important role in bringing students the actual investment experience in the future class of home economics. In addition, it is said that over 90% of high school students now possess their smartphones, and the Giga School program aimed at providing each student with digital device is now proceeding. Under these circumstances, students are allowed to work on this app even outside of their classrooms, having a lot of opportunities to be exposed to the investment world. So, what benefits can we expect to our plan? First of all, contributing to a creation process of our educational material is a crucial marketing opportunity for brokerage companies to advertise their work, especially among young generations. As a consequence, there will be an increase in the number of young clients. In addition, our investment app is expected to boost the financial literacy of young generations. The society will be also be blessed with an economic growth and clarified corporate governance attributed to the increase of investments. In order to realize our plan, cooperation among these three elements is really indispensable. Brokerage companies take an initiative role in creating a setting of the app, discussing with the Ministry of Education to what extent replicate the actual investment world into the app and its demand from high school educations. They form a foundation of this app. Software engineers actually designed the app based on a discussion between brokerage companies and the Ministry of Education. Production of this app is estimated to cost about 4 million yen in total. The Ministry of Education invests to a creation process of our app as a digital learning material. After the accreditation by the Ministry of Education, it's time to introduce our app in the actual classrooms, motivating more students to get familiar with the investments.
Thank you, Rintaro. Now I'd like to end our talk, but before I do that, I'd like to end with a thought. And that thought is that investment is not just investment. The act of investing can be distilled into the act of synthesizing information to make smart choices. It takes a special eye for good information and an equally effective action plan to make use of that good information. I see this as a transferable skill that more people should have, especially in the modern information age. We make our children learn programming because we believe that it will help them in the future. And rightfully so. But my question is, what makes investment so different? Let us invest in the future of our children and society through investment. And thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, presenters. And now we'll have the question and answer session.
Thank you very much for your pay attention about next year's high school new curriculum. I'm really happy to your presentation to point it out this point. And I also, I'm really interested about this program, but I would like to ask one point. What will happen if students make a big losses on this program?
Can you have a go?
Thank you very much for your question. And that is a very good point. What might happen if students make losses? But because this app utilizes, effectively, points, they're not going to be losing real money. And the benefits of not losing real money but actually experiencing a loss is that they'll able to see the mistakes that they make and the biases that they have in investing. And as we know, human behavioral biases are a very important part of understanding investor behavior. If they're able to do that and able to understand their biases, they'll able to counteract their biases when they enter the real market and use real money. So that would be our answer. Thank you very much.
Okay, probably Japanese education market or teacher person tend to very intolerance to such a risk for the education. So this is a very important point. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have one more question from our second judge.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I think every foreign investment bank operating in Japan would be interested in hearing more about this. My question is, you seem to equate financial literacy with investing in the stock market. So if I had purchased your product in 1990, I would have lost 80% of my money over the next 5 years.
Yes.
Please explain a little more how literacy equals stock market investing.
Financial literacy? Is this question about like how the rise of financial literacy contributes to the stock market in Japan?
No, sorry, it's whether financial literacy means I should invest in the stock market. Perhaps financial literacy means I should not invest in the stock market.
Yes, financial literacy is not just about investment. In financial literacy, they also teach students about basic accounting and financing and how to manage money and apply their money for a lifetime period. So it's through the learning process of financial education, students can make plausible decisions to actually invest their money in the financial market. So this app is probably good start for students to know what is actually going on in the financial market and get the idea of what's going to happen if they pour some of their money into the real financial market.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, judges. And presenters, we have 2 questions or so from the audience, if you don't mind. The first question is about student motivations. Is this app able to motivate learning about investment by itself?
Yes, that's why we came up with this one particular condition, which is transferability. So if they keep playing the game and take it seriously, they might be able to maximize their allocated points, which can be transferred to actual Japanese yen when students open their brokerage accounts. Of course, we know that the rate of transfer is, pretty low, 100 points equal to 1 Japanese yen. But still, it's transferable. What you play around with in the app can turn into actual Japanese yen, your funds. So I think that this feature of the app can be like the strong motive for students to keep playing the game even after high school education.
Thank you. And last question is actually about transferability. The question is, In your presentation, you mentioned that investments in the app will create points that are transferable to real yen. Where is this real yen coming from? Who will provide it?
Ideally, we want the money. We want the money from like Ministry of Education, and we want the government to create this fund. To promote this financial literacy project, and we have the cashless promotion conference in the Japanese government, so probably we can suggest this proposal to that conference and figure out how it works.
Thank you very much. And thank you all, Ishito Rintaro, Tampol Kangaskai, and Raman Aryan. Wonderful presentation.
ありがとうございました。